TFT Set 8 is releasing tomorrow on the PBE Monsters Attack. So today we're going to be breaking down all the new changes, all the new traits, and champions, item changes, and augments. So stick around. It's going to be a long video, so I'll have the timestamps linked in the description. As well as go check out my Twitch, where I'll be streaming this tomorrow. So make sure you follow, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just jump right into this. So this is Monsters Attack. Basically, this whole theme is centered around this new city, Spatulopolis. And it's kind of like superhero comic art styled theme here. And let's just jump right into it. So the first major change is coming with specific hero augments. And what that means is, with the augment system, once per game, you'll have a choice to choose a specific hero augment, an augment that will affect a specific champion. We'll get into that later in the video, but that is the big change coming to this set. With the new traits, though, the origin traits, we'll just get right into it. So first is the admin. We have Blitzcrank, Camille, LeBlanc, and Soraka. Okay, and this was one of the ones they showcased in the preview video from Mortdog. But basically, you're able to customize your own trait. There are cause and effects. I think they are. I think one of those will have all the traits listed out. But level 2, configure the cause and effect, so you just get the trait. Level 4 is you configure an additional effect. I'm assuming it's an additional cause and an additional effect. Oh, it says you configure an additional effect. So it's going to be one cause, but 2 effects. Okay. And level 6 is the outputs above tiers are increased by 160%. Next, we got the Anima Squad. This includes Nasus, Silas, Jinx, Riven, Vayne, and Misfortune. When an Anima Squad champion kills another champion, so when they specifically kill, they pause to celebrate, and your team builds fame. Okay. Wonder how long that pause is going to be for. But Anima Squad champions gain attack damage and ability power plus 4 additional maximum health, according to the shared fame. So it's a stacking trait, I see. Not sure if it's permanent or just for that round. But level 3 is 20% attack damage and 20 ability power. Level 5 is 40% attack damage and 40 ability power. And level 7 is 99 attack damage and 99 ability power. So I feel like, since there's only 6, so 7 is going to be pretty easy to get. You don't need 2 emblems, you just need 1. I feel like that's going to be pretty good. These champions actually seem pretty good. We'll get into all their abilities and stuff later on in the video. Let's just keep going. Next, we got Civilian, which is Galio, Sivir, and Janna. If there is a civilian alive, all allies are inspired to fight harder to protect them, gaining 2 mana every 2 seconds. Or gaining, level 1 is 2 mana, level 2 is 5 mana, and level 3 is 10 mana every 2 seconds. So kind of like evokers. Mind you, I'm only plat in TFT. I only entered in set 5. So I'm relatively new to the game, so cut me a little slack here. But I think this set's gonna be really fun and really have a lot of room for optimization and customization on the way you want to play the game, which I think is be awesome. Next we have Corrupted, which is Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks starts dormant. Starts combat dormant. When allied champions die, Fiddlesticks absorbs their soul, grabbing 20 ability power. After falling below 60% health, or when all allies have died, Fiddlesticks becomes alive. Okay, so he's gonna be targetable, it seems like. Almost, it's like a target dummy. He's a scarecrow. So when he drops below 60% health, when all the allies have died, he comes alive. It's gonna be a 5 cost. I think it's gonna be pretty good. I feel like there's gonna be some builds with him. Interesting ability though. Next we have Gadgeteen, which includes Lulu, Poppy, Annie, Zoe, and Nunu. Every round, Gadgeteens generate a random modified weapon that can be equipped by any unit. These weapons are powerful but not durable and fall apart after 2 rounds of use. The Gadgeteens will not make new items to replace items left on the bench. So at level 3, it creates 1 item every round, and at level 5, it creates 2 items every round. So it's almost like there will be a list. I have a list pulled up. Let's see where it is. Should have it on another page. I'll pull it up in a second. Don't think it's here. But they're modified items. I think it's here. So set Gadgeteen items. We got a Shroud, a Gadgeteen Shroud. So it shoots a beam that increases maximum mana of affected enemies by 35% until they cast. I can't remember what the original Shroud is. But additionally, affected enemies have their attack speed and movement speed slowed for 20% by 1.5. And it self-destructs after 2 combats. Interesting that the movement speed is slowed. Still seems pretty good. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how people utilize that. Next, we have the induction-powered Warmog's Armor. Grants 900 bonus health. Regens 2% max health per second. And self-destructs after 2 combats. Seems like all of these self-destruct after 2 combats. So you're going to be constantly gaining items every round. And it self-destructs after every 2 rounds. You're going to be constantly having just these swapping gadgets. Next, we have the Gadget Slayer. It grants 20% bonus attack damage and 20 ability power. 20 AP 20 bonus ability power. That word is weird. If the target has 1 more than 1 maximum health, deal. Okay, so if it just is alive, it deals 25% more damage with abilities and attacks. Okay, cool. The Chainsword Bloodthirster grant 20% Omnivamp. Once per combat at 40% health, gain a 25% maximum health shield that lasts up to 8 seconds. While the shield is active, the holder grants a 40% AD. Ooh, that sounds really good. You get shield and more AD. Because the original Blood Sword just gives you a shield and Omnivamp. So that's going to be really good. Next, we have the Spring-Loaded Rapid-Fire Cannon. Grants attack speed, 30% bonus attack speed and range, 3 range. God, this wording is weird. Attacks cannot miss. So more range and I think more attack speed. Jump-Started Spear of Shojin. Grants 30 bonus starting mana and 20 bonus ability power. Sorry, I have to like think about when I'm reading these because I'm worded so weirdly. Every third attack restores 10 additional mana. Okay. So I think you have more starting mana, I think. And instead of every attack, it seems like every third attack. See, it's interesting. We'll have to try that out in game. Next, we have Magnetized Ionic Spark. Enemies within 2 hexes have their magic resist reduced by 50% when they cast an ability and are zapped for magic damage equal to 185% of their maximum mana. Every 4 seconds, the holder taunts all enemies in range to attack the holder. Oh, that could be really good. I really like Ionic Spark. At least in this past set, I think it was pretty good on some of these melee mages, melee ability power damaging champions. But the fact that it taunts everybody, I think will be really good, because you really get the full effect of the magic, the AP reduction, magic resist reduction, as well as just the damage that it does will be really good. Next we got Overclock Sunfire Cape. Grants 150% 150 bonus health. Sorry. And every 1 second, an enemy within 3 hexes is burned. I think it was originally 2. I could be wrong on that. Over 10 seconds, 30% reduced healing. Okay. Not as big of a change, but I think that's still going to be pretty good. I think Sunfire is just a pretty good tank item. And the Hand of Non-Deterministic Justice. It grants 2 effects, 25% attack damage, and 25 ability power, and 50% Omnivamp. So it doesn't seem like it's gonna be have the bonus. Oh, this one gets like double the effects. It seems like it's just a straight flat buff, I guess. And that's all the gadgetine items, at least that we know of. I'm not sure if there's gonna be more. I think this trait will be pretty good. I think also the fact that it can be equipped by any unit will also be really good. And I think that if you even just have 3 on the board and kind of flex it with something else, you have your carries, and then you have just really good secondary units. I think that'll be really awesome. Next, we have the Laser Core. All Laser Core agents are assigned a combat drone. When attacking or being hit by an attack, the drone has a 50% chance to deal magic damage to the agent's target. When a Laser Core agent dies, their drone is then reassigned to the nearest living Laser Core agent. So interesting. So they can have multiple drones, I think. It seems like, because everyone gets one, and if it dies, it goes to the next one. Interesting. We do have a video on this. Is it this one? It's this one. So they at the start of combat, it will then appear. And there's a 50% chance to attack. And then when it dies, it will transfer to the nearest unit. It's very, very interesting. Level 3, it does 50 damage. At level 6, it does 130 magic damage. And at level 9, the drone lasers deal 210 magic damage, and each laser core agent gets another drone. So basically, you are doubling your chance to get a proc. That's what I think will be pretty good. And for this, we got Ash, we got Renekton, Yasuo, Senna, Sejuani, Zed, and Mordekaiser. I think this will be really good if you're able to get it. It's going to be hard because you're going to need 2 emblems or an augment to get it. But I think it's going to be really good, and I think that people are going to really like this. I think it's going to be really popular. Next, we got the Mecha Primes. Use the Prime selector to designate a Prime. So kind of like the Dragonmancer emblem thing, the Enhancer. At the start of combat, the Prime combines with the 2 closest mecha units, taking a portion of their base health and attack damage. So they steal their stats basically and make it a buffed stat, which I think will be pretty good because you can stack someone who's really tanky, like you build them straight tank, and you make them your mega carry unit. I think it'll be really good with the hero augments to really buff up that one unit, which I think will be really fun. I think that looks really fun. We got Wukong, we got Draven, Jax, Set, and Leona. At level 3, it's 75% health and it's 75% attack damage, and at level 5, it's 100% health and 100% attack damage. Like I said, it'll be really interesting to see what people come up with the augments and how they utilize the 2 closest stat stealers. Next, we got Oxforce, which is Talon, Annie, Fiora, Alistar, Viego, and Aphelios. Oxforce units gain attack speed that increases with their missing % health. Ooh, that sounds really good. Oxforce units will fight to their dying breath to defend their city, becoming invulnerable for 1.5 seconds the first time they would die in combat. What? That's going to be another popular trait to go for. Just because you basically get a free GAs. Wait, that's, you just build a Bloodthirsters or something? What? That sounds so good. We'll have to mess around with that. Level 2, they get 5 to 15% attack speed. At level 4, they get 30 to 60% attack speed. And at level 6, they get 60 to 120 attack speed. Yeah, I think it's gonna be another popular trait. Next, we have the Star Guardians. Star Guardians are coming back. When Star Guardians gain mana, they gain more mana. Okay, so basically you get a free Shojins. Cool. Level 3, it's 35%. Level 5 is 60%. Level 7 is 100%. And level 9 is 150% additional mana. So when they attack, they'll get more mana. Sounds pretty good. We have Lux, Rel, Yumi, Kaisa, Nila, Echo, Talia, sorry, and Syndra. Next we have the Supers. Supers strike a pose at the start of combat, granting allies 30% bonus damage. For every 3-star unit on your team, the bonus damage is increased by 5%. For every 3-star unit on your team, so it doesn't have to be these champions. Cool. That sounds really good. We got Gangplank, Lee Sin, and Malphite. Interesting. Next is Threat. Threat are more powerful than any other units. You may field any number of threats, but they do not gain bonuses for being fielded using so you can only have you can have as many threats as you want, but there'll only be one trait. We'll have to see how that works in game. But we got Cho'Gath, Rammus, finally, Vel'Koz, Aurelion Sol, Bel'Veth, Zac, Fiddlesticks, and Urgot. So these are kind of like the big baddies, the monsters in Monsters Attack. The threats. Next is Underground. The Underground periodically checks in with the loot from their current heist. Oh, we saw this showcased in the preview. You may choose to cut and run and take the current loot, or continue the heist to get even better rewards. After completing a heist, a new one begins. It takes a total 9 total progress to complete the heist. Words. Kale, Ezreal, Vi, Sona, and Samira. I think this trait's gonna be really good if you have a good opener. As we saw in the showcase, it's you either get like a bow and some gold, or you can get like 4 radiant items or whatever. So we'll see how strong this will be, but I think it's gonna be pretty good, and another one people go for. Level 3, the Underground makes 1 progress after each player combat round. After loss, they make 3. Oh, okay. Never mind. That's the way they balance it. So you can have a really strong opening and just wait, or if you lose, you get more progress. So you can get that higher rewards. And at level 5, you get 2 instead of 1, and when you lose, you make 5 instead of 3. So just a little buffs to that. Next, we got the traits. So the secondary traits to the champions. First off, we have Ace. This trait is only active when you have exactly 1 or exactly 4 unique aces. And it's an execute. Level 1 is execute enemies under 15% health. And level 4 is execute enemies under 30% health. We got Draven, Misfortune, Samira, and Mordekaiser. Okay. Next we have Aegis. All allies gain bonus magic resist, and Aegis units gain more. Looks like it's double for the Aegis units. We have Vi, Alistar, Echo, and Leona. Sorry, it looks similar. Level 2 is 25 and 50. Level 3 is 40 and 80. Level 4 is 60 and 120. And level 5 is 85 and 170. We have the Arsenal for Aphelios. Arsenal units pick up the weapons they equipped when placed on the board, changing their spell's effects. So we saw this in the preview once again, where Aphelios can choose different guns based on the situation, and I think it will be good. Once you get down to the last few people and you know who you're facing, or you have the I forget what that augment's called. You know who you're facing, so you can change your guns appropriately. We got Brawler coming back. Brawlers gain additional maximum health. Level 2 it's 20%, level 4 it's 30%, level 6 is 50%, and level 8 is 89%. We have Blitzcrank, Renekton, Lee Sin, Vi, Jax, Riven, and Sejuani. Next is Defender. The innate is shortly after the start of combat, defenders taunt nearby enemies. Okay, so it's a free taunt. Interesting. I think that'll be pretty good. And all allies gain bonus armor. Defenders gain more. Okay, so basically the armor version of Aegis. All allies gain bonus armor. Oh yeah. Level 2 is 30 and 60. Level 4 is 60 and 120. Level 6 is 100 and 200. And we have Poppy, Wukong, Rel, Riven, and Set. Next is Duelist. Duelist basic attacks grant them a bonus attack speed up to 10 stacks. Level 2 is 6% attack speed. Level 4 is 12% attack speed. Level 6 is 20% attack speed. And level 8 is 35 attack speed. Gangplank, Kale, Fiora, Yasuo, Nila, Vayne, and Zed. Cool. Next we have the Forecaster trait. from Janna. Janna grants a different buff to all adjacent allies depending on the current weather, which changes every game. So this will be static every single game, but it changes every game. Kind of like the Namzi trait or the I forget. But we have the forecast. So Rainy will be gain mana at the start of combat. Sunny will be gain a shield for a few seconds at the start of combat. And Windy is gain a buff that increases their attack damage and ability power every few seconds. Seems like we have a preview of Janna's abilities. So that's Rainy, that's Windy, and that's Sunny, and it seems like it affects the units next to her. Adjacent to her. Cool. Next we got Hacker. Hackers gain Omnivamp. And Hackers summon a Hackerim. Haha. That takes the unit into the Hex Rider, into the Rider Hex into the enemy backline. The Rider is untargetable for the first few seconds of combat. I'm not sure. But you gain more Omnivamp, 20%. Level 2 is 20%, level 3 is 20%, and level 4 is 20%. But we have LeBlanc, Zoe, and Zed. And we have another video on this. Where it's the designated unit and they'll hop right onto the back line and become untargetable. I'm not sure they're gonna show it again. Yeah, so at the start of combat, I think the Hackerman will automatically appear on the board and it will target the closest champion and it will put him right to the back line. So kind of like Assassins, but they'll be untargetable, so it'll be interesting to see what people come up with build wise. I can't really see anybody using it besides LeBlanc and Zed. I think Zed will be pretty good. Next we got Heart. When Heart units cast their spell, all allies gain stacking ability power for the rest of combat. Interesting. So it seems like they're kind of turning the Mirage traits into traits, which is interesting. Level 2 is 5 ability power, level 4 is 10 ability power, and level 6 is 15 ability power. And we got Lulu, Lee Sin, Yumi, Sona, Soraka, and Syndra. Next is Mascot. When mascots die, they retreat to the sidelines to cheer on their team. So it's when they die. So they'll still be valuable when they die. Interesting. Allies regenerate a percentage of their maximum health every 3 seconds. Increased by 1% for each cheering mascot. So it's a flat percentage plus the mascots. And mascots regenerate double this amount. Okay, interesting. So we got level 2 is 1.5% health. Level 4 is 2.5% health. Level 6 is 4.5% health. And level 8 is 7% health. Holy crap, that's a lot. We have Galio, Nasus, Malphite, Yumi, Alistar, and Nunu. It's interesting what they're doing with this because we have basically a free regen, free attack speed, free stacking ability power. It's going to be interesting how we combine all these units together. I think it'll be very fun. Next is Prankster with Jinx, Zoe, and Echo. When they would first fall below 50% health, Pranksters spawn a target dummy. Move to a safe location and restore 500 health. Wow. So basically get a free getaway and heal. Okay. Level 3 is the enemy who kills a target dummy is stunned for 1.5 seconds. Next we have the recon trait. The innate trait is units gain attack range. Okay. And before casting, if there's a nearby enemy, recon units will dash to safety. Not sure if there's a preview on this one. But they'll quickly hop away before they get attacked, which is another getaway. It's interesting. I feel like these fights are gonna be a lot longer now, but we'll see how this works. And they gain bonus critical strike chance, bruh. With Ashe, Ezreal, Kaisa, and Vayne. We have level 2 is 10% crit chance, level 3 is 35% crit chance, and level 4 is 60% crit chance. Recon spells can crit. So the abilities can only crit on the 4th upgrade of Recon. Interesting. Next is Renegade. Renegade units deal bonus damage. The last Renegade standing deals more. Not sure what these commas mean, so we'll have to figure that out. I'll just leave that for your interpretation, I guess, because I don't really know. But we got Silas, Talon, Camille, Viego, and Leona. And then we have Spellslingers. Every 6 seconds, Spellslingers replace their next attack with an orb of magic flung at the random target, dealing 75% of their ability power as magic damage. Spellslingers have increased ability power. Level 2 is 30 AP, level 4 is 60 AP, level 6 is 100 AP. And we have Lux, Annie, LeBlanc, Sona, and Talia. And last but not least, we have Sure Shot. Every 5 seconds, Sure Shots gain bonus attack damage for the rest of combat. Oh my. We have Sivir, Senna, Samira, and Aphelios. And level 2 is 25%, and level 4 is 50%. Oh boy. Alright. Now, we get into the champions. Very fun. We'll go over cost by cost. So, first off, we have Ashe, who has a 0 out of 80 mana, and her ability is Ranger's Focus. Ashe increases her focus for the next 4 seconds, gaining attack damage. Next, we have Blitzcrank, stacked defenses, 45 out of 90. Blitzcrank creates an empowered field around him, and reducing all damage taken for 4 seconds. So kind of like Leona right now. We have Galio. His ability is Out of My Way. Galio steps back and dashes forward to the nearest enemy, dealing magic damage. And then he grants himself the closest ally a shield for 4 seconds. Next we have Gangplank. Gangplank removes all crowd control from himself and fires a flaming bullet at his target, dealing magic damage and reducing healing. Wow, that sounds good. Don't know how good of a carry he'd be, but it sounds like a really good utility. Just reducing healing and not getting CC'd. It's pretty good. That ability is Trial by Fire. Next is Kale. We have Star Fire Spellblade. Kale's next 3 attacks smite her target, dealing a % of her attack damage to them and magic damage to enemies within 1 hex. So an area of effect. She's gonna be a great carry, I think. It's gonna be really good. Next is Lulu's Glitter Lance. Glitter Lance. Lulu fires a bolt of magic energy at her target, dealing magic damage to the first enemy and to subsequent enemies. Okay, so a little pixie. I haven't seen her being played as kind of a damage dealer, so that'd be interesting. Next is Lux. Lux sends a Lucent Singularity at a random enemy's location that detonates after arrival, dealing magic damage to nearby enemies. Sorry, E. Reducing the attack damage of the enemy in the center by 40%. Whoa. That's going to be really good too. Just having the damage reduced. Next, we have Nasus's Bonk. Nasus slams his staff on his target, dealing 8% of his attack damage and slowing their attack speed. What? The slowed attack speed is built in that too? That's gonna be interesting. Next is Poppy's Buckler's Toss. Poppy throws her buckler at the farthest enemy, dealing 8% of her armor as magic damage. The buckler then bounces back, granting Poppy a shield that blocks damage. Next is Renekton's Dominus. Renekton empowers himself for 8 seconds, gaining maximum health and causing his attacks to deal 5% of his maximum health as bonus magic damage. Then there's Silas with Battle Blast. Silas whirls his chains around him, healing himself and dealing magic damage to nearby enemies. Talon's Oxyan Diplomacy. Talon jumps to the furthest unit from the center of the board. Interesting. And stabs them. If this kills them, then Talon heals. Whoa. You could just stack a ton of damage on them. Interesting. And usually the tanks will be in the center of the board, so he's like an assassin will kill the squishies, which would be pretty good, I think. Next is Wukong. His stone skin, he spins around, dealing magic damage to nearby enemies and gaining armor and magic resist for each enemy hit for 3 seconds. Wow, that sounds good. And I think he's one of he's with the Mecha Prime, so he can steal his stats. Wow, that's gonna be really good. Let's see how good he is. Next is the 2 costs. Annie has her burst shield. Annie blasts a cone of fire, dealing magic damage to enemies in front of her, and then creates a health shield on herself for 4 seconds. Camille has her tactical sweep. Camille sweeps her leg, dealing a % of her attack damage and disarming enemies hit. Not sure what disarming enemies hit means, but we'll see. Next is Draven's Whirling Death. Draven hurls 2 massive axes at his target's direction, dealing a % of his attack damage to all enemies in its path, reducing by 25% for each enemy they pass through. So his ult reduces damage when it hits stuff. Next is Reverse at the end of the path, dealing damage to enemies hit along the way back. I'm not sure if it's like his ult and it resets. Something we'll have to find out. Next is Ezreal's Sabotage. Ezreal fires a orb of physical sabotage at his target, reducing their attack speed for 4 seconds. Afterward, he fires a shot at them, dealing magic damage to them and nearby enemies. A lot of area of effect from these champions so far. Next is Fiora's On Guard. Fiora lunges at her enemies, dealing a % of her attack damage to all enemies hit, and activates her Duelist Soul for 8 seconds. While her Duelist Soul is active, she takes 20% less damage and her attacks restore health. Very, very good. Jinx's Fishbones. Jinx fires a rocket at her target that explodes on impact, dealing magic damage to all nearby enemies and stunning them. Lee Sin's Safeguard. If there is an nearby ally, Lee Sin dashes towards them, shielding both them and himself for 4 seconds. There's no nearby allies alive. Lee Sin gains a shield instead. Afterwards, he dashes back and deals a % of his attack damage to his target. Okay. Malphite's Ground Slam. Malphite slams the ground beneath him, dealing magic damage to nearby enemies and granting himself armor for 4 seconds. We have Rel's Iron Bond. Rel's forms a tether between herself and her lowest percentage health ally, dealing magic damage to all enemies between herself and the bound ally. She also grants herself and her ally a % of Rel's current armor and magic resist for 4 seconds. We have Sivir's Pizza Delivery. Sivir throws her pizza at a target, dealing a % of her attack damage. It then splits into slices and gets delivered to the... Wow, that's going to be really good. And it heals. Wow, that's going to be really good. Next is Vi's Blast Shield. Vi slams the ground in front of her and releases her stored energy, granting herself a shield for 4 seconds, reducing the armor of nearby enemies for 4 seconds, and dealing 8% of her attack damage. We have Yasuo's Steel Tempest. Yasuo dashes to the best position to strike the most enemies, and fires a whirlwind at his target, dealing magic damage, knocking up units hit. Interesting. Yuumi fires a curved missile at the farthest target in her attack range, dealing magic damage to the first unit hit. So it seems like it's kind of like a boomerang, but it will just hit the first unit hit. Next, we get into the 3-cost champions. We got Alistar and Pulverize. Alistar slams the ground beneath his target, dealing magic damage and knocking them up for 1.5 seconds. He then roars, healing himself and the lowest health ally champion for 15% of his maximum health. Wow, 15%? He's gonna be really good. You get him you get him 3-starred. I think that's pretty good, and just build full tank on him. Next we have Cho'Gath. His passive, that Cho'Gath has increased magic resist. Cho'Gath breathes a cosmic beam in a forward arc that deals 8% of his magic resist as magic damage, and increasing their maximum mana until they cast. Wow. Jax's adaptive strike as a passive. Every third attack, he leaps to his target. I'm assuming the target he's just attacking. And deals bonus magic damage. Its bonus damage increases every third attack up to 10 times. Wow. Sounds pretty good. Kai'Sa's Star Charge. Her passive is that Kai'Sa attacks apply plasma. Her next attack against a target with 2 stacks of plasma will do a bonus damage. And her active is that she gains attack speed for 6 seconds, and it can stack. Which means that if she casts again within that 6 seconds, it will stack on top of that. Next is LeBlanc and her Sigil of Malice. LeBlanc fires sigils at a target, dealing magic damage. If the target dies, she continues casting at the nearest target and casts 1 more sigil. Neela's Apotheosis. Apotheosis? Yeah, Apotheosis. Neela whirls her Whipblade, dealing magic damage to nearby enemies while healing herself and her allies over 1 second. She charges it, and then she'll release a burst, dealing magic damage. Next is Rammus. Woohoo! And his Sand Slam. It's passive that Rammus has increased armor. Okay. And Rammus powers himself up and leaps to the target of the largest group of enemies, dealing a percentage of his armor as magic damage, knocking them up for 1.2 seconds and reducing their attack damage by 40% for 4 seconds. Wow, that sounds really good. Next is Riven's Bunny Blade. Riven gains a shield for 4 seconds and empowers her next 3 basic attacks with bonus magic damage. For attack, target currently has less health in her. Wow, her magic damage is increased by 100%. Yeah, she's gonna be good. Next is Senna's Piercing Darkness. Senna fires a laser beam in the direction of a nearby enemy, dealing 8% of her attack damage to all enemies in a line. We have Sona's Crescendo Sequence. Oh, interesting. Sona cycles between 3 phases, firing 2 beams that 1 deal magic damage to the closest enemies, 2 heals the lowest health allies, and 3 deals magic damage and stuns the closest enemies for 1.5 seconds. So she's going to be just rotating through her abilities. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But the fact that she does damage, heals, does damage, and stuns, it's going to be pretty good. Next we have Vayne in her Silver Bolts. Vayne fires a heavy bolt attack, so it's an active instead of her passive. It's a low mana though. Vayne fires a heavy bolt at her target, dealing 8% of her attack damage as true damage. We have Vel'Koz's Frozen Tomb. Vel'Koz freezes the enemy champion that has the most damage. Wow, what? Vel'Koz freezes the enemy champion that has dealt the most damage this round. I feel like late game this is gonna be really good. Just basically taking their champion out of the game, basically. Their carry out of the game. And the last 3 cost we have is Zoe with Trouble Bubble. Say that 3 times. Zoe launches a bubble at the nearest infected enemy's location, infecting all enemies hit with a virus that deals magic damage over 10 seconds. Infected enemies take more damage. Interesting. So I'm assuming it's their sleep, but like it's a damage over time and its location, so multiple enemies can get hit. And they take, wow, she's gonna be so good. And they take more damage from her, or if they get hit from all your units. So she's gonna be really good. Man, I already have some cool ideas for builds. Now we're getting into the big boys, the 4 costs. We have first have Aurelian's Soul and Meteor Shower. Aurelian's Soul calls down meteors on random enemies that explode on impact. Each meteor deals magic damage and applies a burn for 10 seconds, dealing 10% of the target's maximum health as true damage, and reducing incoming healing by 25%. Wow. Giant AoE, max true damage. God, that sounds really good. I think that sounds like we need pretty nuts. Mind you, though, in this set, there are no units that take up 2 slots, which is a blessing. Thank you. That's gonna be really nice. Next, we have Bel'Veth and Endless Banquet. Bel'Veth dashes around her target and unleashes a flurry of attacks, each dealing 8% of her attack damage. Each time this is cast, Bel'Veth gains 20% bonus attack speed for the rest of combat. Wow, that sounds really good. You could just put blue buff on her and she'll just keep getting damage. I don't know. That sounds kind of fun. Next we have Echo. It's Stardiver. Echo dives in, granting himself a shield for 5 seconds and taunts nearby enemies. When the shield breaks, he emits a time field, dealing damage to nearby enemies and slowing their attack speed for 50% by 2 seconds. Cool. We have Misfortune in her ult, Bullet Time. Misfortune channels for 2 seconds, firing 8 waves of bullets in her cone in her target's direction. Each wave deals magic damage, not attack damage, magic damage to the first target hit. Okay, so then you can block it basically. Enemies hit by bullets in short succession will take magic damage for each bullet instead. Okay, cool. We have Samira and Flare. Samira knocks up and juggles her target for 1.5 seconds. Oh, it's her passive. Interesting. Rapidly firing bullets that deal a percent of her attack damage, and the bullets ricochet to nearby enemies. Whoa! Cool. Cool. So another AoE kind of effect there. Next is Sejuani and Crowd Grenade. Sejuani throws a crowd grenade at the closest enemy. After a 2-second delay, enemies within a 3 hex radius, wow, are dealt magic damage and are stunned. Don't know for how long yet, but that seems pretty good. Next is Set and the Mech Slam. Set begins charging up, becoming immune to crowd control, and gaining a shield for 2.5 seconds. After the shield breaks or at the end of its duration, he releases a blast cone at the most enemies in range. Okay, that's gonna be really good. Dealing physical damage to all enemies inside. The damage increases depending on how long he is charged. How long he is charged. Oh, if the shield breaks. Oh, I see. Okay. Soraka's in her Star Call. Soraka launches a star at a target. Each star deals magic damage and heals Soraka for 10% of her max health. Every 3 casts, she launches a star at the nearest enemies instead. Cool. Next we have Talia and her Weaver's Wall. Talia summons torrents of spiraling rocks at a line of enemy units, dealing magic damage to all enemies hit. After a brief delay, the walls explodes. Okay, so it actually does damage. Cool. We have Viego and Heartbreaker. Viego becomes unstoppable, leaping to the largest cluster of nearby enemies and slamming down his sword the enemy with the lowest health, dealing magic damage to the primary target and magic damage to enemies nearby. If Viego kills an enemy, he casts again with reduced damage. Wow. That sounds pretty good. We have Zac and Symbiotic Split. Passive, upon dying, he splits into smaller Zac blobs. 3% of Zac's maximum health that taunt nearby enemies. Okay. So he's almost like a distraction. Spell, Zac bounces into the air. So his abilities, he bounces into the air, slams back down, dealing magic damage and 11% of his current health to nearby enemies and healing himself for 20% of his missing health. And lastly, we got Zed in Empowered Kill mode. Zed teleports behind his target and marks them for death, shredding armor for 6 seconds, and then he enters an Empowered Kill mode. While active, Zed's attacks deal an additional bonus physical damage, and every third attack damages all adjacent enemies. What? Dealing 100% of his attack damage plus physical damage to adjacent enemies. God, that sounds really good. We have 8 5-cost units. First off is Philios with the faithful weapons of the faithful. We get to choose his guns. So the Dusk Wave, he unleashes a wave of energy cone. So it's like fire. His flamethrower basically. Dealing magic damage to all units hit and locking onto them after a delay. Philios fires a volley of attacks at each locked on target, dealing 1% of his attack damage. Next, we have Blinding Eclipse. Philios casts forth a lunar spotlight towards the largest group of units, dealing 1% of his attack damage plus bonus base damage to and stunning all enemies in the area. Lastly, we have Philios enters a onslaught for 1.75 seconds, automatically performing 6 attacks over the duration of the nearest 2 enemies, dealing 300% of his attack damage plus base damage to each enemy. That'll be really fun to experiment with, and I think paired up with his 2 traits. I think it'd be fun. We have Fiddlesticks. We know that he is basically a statue at the start of the round, and only will activate when he's below 60% health or all his allies die. And his ability is the Dark Harvest. Fiddlesticks teleports into the largest cluster of enemies and fears them. For the next few seconds, Fiddlesticks drains the life from nearby enemies, dealing magic damage per second and healing himself for 20% of the magic damage dealt. We have Janna's ability, which she sends her tornado, knocking up for 0.5 seconds. When the twister stops, it expands and all nearby enemies are knocked up. Okay, so it moves and then it's like a tornado. Cool. Next is Leona and her Deus Machina. I think I said it. I don't know. Leona locks onto her target and calls an orbital laser strike onto her target. Huh? Yeah, Deus Machina. After a short delay, the laser fires on the locked on target, dealing true damage per second to the target and dealing magic damage to nearby enemies. That will be fun to experiment with. Just calling an orbital strike. Interesting. We have Mordekaiser in Skylands. This is ult. He transports the board into his realm, shredding the magic resist of all enemies before summoning a building behind him and slamming it into the board, dealing magic damage to all enemies hit. That sounds so much fun. Cool. So he just nukes the board basically. We have Nunu and the biggest Roboball ever. We have his passive, which Nunu will slowly roll a ball around the board, dealing magic damage to all enemies it passes through, gaining mana per second. And the ball will grow, increasing their speed and radius of the ball and magic damage by 10%. Oh, that sounds fun. If you put a QSS on him, oh, that sounds so fun. And you get an augment that boosts his movement speed or something. That sounds so fun. He just... That sounds fun. We got Syndra with the Force of Will. Syndra enshrouds a random unit on your bench in an orb, granting them shield, flinging them under the board towards the closest enemy, knocking them up, and dealing magic damage to enemies hit. Traits are unaffected except corrupted. Interesting. It's a random unit on your bench. And I wonder what they mean by traits are unaffected except corrupted. I don't know what that means. I don't know if the specific units on your bench matter. Seems like you at least want a unit on your bench. That's interesting. I've never seen that mechanic before. Interesting. And then last but not least, last unit in this set is Urgot with Undertow. Urgot summons a gigantic wave behind him, behind his enemies that moves towards him, dealing a % of their maximum health as magic damage. The wave's force knocks enemies forward 1 hex and stuns them. I wonder if it's going to hit everybody. I'm not sure if it's just a cluster. I don't know how big the wave is going to be. For each champion hit, he has a chance to dredge up treasure. Huh. Interesting. I have no idea what that means. But we'll find out. And that is all the champions in the set. A lot of area of effect, a lot of stuns and gaining attack damage, and it's gonna be interesting to see what we come up with. We have a new item. Don't know if there's an icon yet. I think this. Oh, it's Stride Breaker. It's supposed to be Stride Breaker. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Let's just look at this. So it's replacing Banshee's Claw. And it grants 15% bonus attack damage and 15 bonus ability power. Abilities and attacks deal 25% more to shielded enemies. Ooh, that sounds good. Just a shield ripper. Changes to the glove. No more dodging. No more dodge effects. It's gonna be. Oh, by the way, Guard Breaker is gonna be the Banshee's Claw build path. Yep. So no more dodging from some of the gloves. And then the change to BF Sword. Using now 10% attack damage instead of flat AD. Cool. That's gonna be a really nice buff. Yeah, that's gonna be really, really nice. Reworked items. We got blue buff getting changed. Let's see if there's any more. Yeah, okay. Nothing from there. We got blue buff. Grants 10 bonus starting mana and 20 bonus ability power. Yeah, I think the ability power is new. Reduce the holder's maximum mana by 10. Oh, whoa. It reduces their whole mana by 10. Wow, that's really good. What? The holder gets at least 1 takedown within 3 seconds of casting. Gain 20. Wow. So they don't even have to get a kill now. It's just a takedown. Kill or an assist within 3 seconds of casting. That's gonna be really good. We got a buff to Deathblade. I think it's a buff. Instead of flat AD, they're getting a percentage. It's gonna be 40%. Which I think will be really good, and it doesn't really necessarily mean you have to get it 3-starred. Which I think will be very, very nice. We have Dragon's Claw. Grants 30% magic resist, or 30 bonus magic resist. Every 2 seconds, generate 4% maximum health. I think it was 2 before. Could be wrong. But I think that's a nice buff to it. I think also it's because dragons are no longer a thing. Because the last set, it got an increased buff if it was a dragon. So it's just a flat right now. They changed Infinity Edge. This is a very big change. They are making it how Jeweled Gauntlet is now. It's an AD Jeweled Gauntlet. So instead of giving 100% critical strike chance, it's 15% bonus attack damage and 15% bonus critical strike chance. So right there, I think you're up at, I want to say 60, 65, I think. Just off the item itself. But damage from abilities can critically strike. So that's the huge thing, abilities. Which I think will be really, really nice for those 80 champions. Next we got Jewel Gauntlet. I think, I'm not really sure what they changed. I don't know. Let me know what they changed for that. I can't remember what the old one is. Next we have Spear of Shojin. So this is not every attack. It's every 3rd attack restores additional mana. Interesting. So I think it's nerfed a little bit. But it grants ability power now. Yeah, I can't remember if it did or not before. That should be interesting. Anyways, lots of big changes. Another big change that they're making is with this anvil. Let's read about this, 'cause I am not too sure what this is. Where is it? Oh, is it not on here? No. Can't remember where I saw this. I don't know, it's on here. I can't remember. Let's just see what this says. Item anvils. Item anvils are the replacement. Replacement for treasure dragons from the last set, but they work in a similar fashion. Monsters attack. Offers you even more options by always giving you the choice between multiple item components or completed item components. So we'll see what that means. I don't know. I thought I had something up regarding what the actual changes were, but we are getting into, I think, the last section of this, which is going to be the hero augments. Every champion. So going back to the start. With the augments, you'll always get a chance to choose a hero augment. Augment that will affect a single champion. A single hero. And you have kind of a carry augment or a support augment. So there's going to be a lot of variation between every single champion, and I think it'll be very fun with all of the customization in the set to really make every game feel different, more so than it already is. So we'll just go through everything. With Galio, his augment is Justice Punch. It's the carry augment. Gain a Galio, and his ability deals 50% more damage and knocks up his target for 1.5 seconds. His support is when you field him, your team gains 20 armor and magic resist, doubled for 4 seconds after being shielded. We have Lux, Illuminating Singularity, the carry. Every second cast, her ability does 100% increased damage, which I think this will be really good for these 1-star costs and I think 5-star costs. It's gonna be. We'll see how they balance everything out. It's gonna be interesting, because imagine like a 5-cost carry Aphelios with the carry augment, like it could be a little overpowered. We'll see what we'll see what they bring. And her support is Lucent Barrier. The combat start, she grants her 2 nearest allies a 400 health, shield, and 20 ability power. We have the dynamic defenses for Blitzcrank. Gain a Gargoyle Stone Plate and a Blitzcrank. When he casts his ability, the duration increases by 1 second for each enemy targeting him. And his support is the Rocket Grab. He pulls the farthest enemy and stuns them for 1.5 seconds. We have Renekton's carry Reign of Anger. Gain a 30% attack speed and an additional 2% per 100 missing health. Wow. You can kind of make him tanky and attack speed damage. Cool. We have Cull of the Meek. His support, gain a Renekton. When you field him, your team deals 10% bonus damage. Tripled against enemies below 50% health. Next is Kale's carry Divine Ascent. She gains bonuses per star level. 30% is attack speed. Level 1 star is 30% attack speed. Level 2 star is plus 2% attack range. And level 3 is attacks fire 2 additional bolts, dealing 50% damage. Wow, that could be really good paired with her attacks already do AoE. Plus, you maybe want to add a Runins to that, and she'll fire 4 additional bolts. That sounds really good. And her support is Righteous Range. The combat start, she and her 2 nearest allies gain 2 attack range and 50% attack speed. So it seems like even the supports are still pretty buffy too, which is good. Especially if they're a ranged carry champion, like by default. Next we have Nasus. Carry stacks on stacks. He gains 20% attack damage increased by 3% permanently each time he casts his ability. Not even kills like his Summoner's Rift ability. It's just every time he casts, which I think will be really good. And his support is Soul Eater. When you field him, he and his allies gain 150 health on takedowns. Next we have Silas. Carry Kingslayer. His ability does 50% more damage and restores 50% of his missing health. And his support is Petrocite Chains. When you field him, your team gains 15 starting mana, and his ability increases enemies' maximum mana by 35%. Next we have Ashe and her carry, which is Laser Focus. She gains 30% attack speed and double while her ability is active. Nice. And her support is Core Focus. When you field her, her team gains 15% attack speed, doubled while her ability is active. Wow, that's really good. Your whole team gains 30% attack speed. We got Poppy and her Bigger Better Buckler. She gains 150 armor, which will translate into her magic damage on her ability. So that's good. And then her support is Steadfast Presence. Combat start, your strongest Poppy grants all allies a 275 health shield. Next we have Gangplank's carry, which is Flaming Ricochet. His ability bounces to a second target, dealing 80% damage. So Lily Cannoneer from last set. And his support is Get Paid. Whenever you field him, his team has a 25% chance to gain 2 gold on a kill. Wow, that sounds so good. We have Talon's carry Edgelord. Me. Gains a talent when he and he gains 40 ability power. Killing the enemy when he restores 40 mana. His support is Oxy and Rage. Whenever you field him, your team gains 10% attack damage and 15% ability power. Tripled when they are below 50% health. Next, we have Wukong's Cyclone Carry. He gains 40 ability power and increases his ability's range by 1 hex. Well, that's really good. Doesn't he knock people up and stun them? That sounds really good. And his support is Re-Energize. When you field him, his team restores 50% of their mana after the first cast each combat. Seems pretty good. Lulu's Carry, it's weird to say, is Growth Spurt. When she casts her ability, she gains 100 bonus health and 20 ability power, and it can stack. Her support is Foster Growth. When you field her, she and her allies gain 35 ability power when equipped with an item. We have Camille's Adaptive Defenses. She gains 20% attack damage, and when she casts her ability, she gains a shield equal to 500% her attack damage for 3 seconds. Goodness. She can get like a 2,000 health shield. What the? Hextech Retribution. Gaining Camille. When you field her, your team deals 15% bonus damage, increasing by an additional 5% whenever an ally dies. Lee Sin's carry is Flurry. He gains 30% attack speed, tripled for 3 seconds after casting his ability. And we had Invigorate, his support. When you refield him, your team gains 15% attack speed, doubled for 4 seconds after being shielded. We have Sivir's Carry Delivery Tips. Every second ability cast, she gains 1 gold with a 20% chance to gain additional 3 gold. So just money. Her support is Endless Pizza. Whenever you field her team heals 15% of their health every 5 seconds. Next we have Ezreal's Carry Rising Spell Force. Whenever he casts his ability, he gains 15% damage. Attack damage and 15 ability power for the rest of combat. It can stack. And his support is Raider's Spoils. Strongest Ezreal grants his nearest ally a temporary artifact. Temporary artifact for the rest of combat. Cool. We have Yumi. She gains 25% predatory precision. She gains 25% critical strike chance, and her ability can critically strike. God, critically chance. So many syllables and consonants. Her support is Zumi's. She grants her team 18% attack speed and movement speed. We have Vi's Carry Unrelenting Force. Whenever she takes damage, she gains 2% attack damage, 2% 2 armor, and 2 magic resist, stacking up to 25 times. And her support is whenever you field her, your team gains 250 bonus health. Next we have Rail's Carry Hold the Line. She gains 50 ability power and 20% damage reduction. And her support is Channeled Ferromancy. Whenever you field her, your team gains 20 armor and magic resist. Each ally gains an additional 5 when they cast. This can stack. What the heck? That sounds really good. They should become unkillable. Next we have Fiora's Carry Frontline Fencing. Whenever her ability is active, she gains 60 armor and magic resist. So basically she's able to pull her ability off more. Get that healing and whatever. And then her support is Vitality of the Ox. Whenever you field her, her team your team heals 2% of their maximum health when they attack. Wow, that sounds really good. Next we have Draven, the League of Draven. He gains a 25% attack damage. When he kills an enemy, there's a 40% chance to get 1 gold. It is Flex. Don't know what that means. But it's Ruthless Blades. Whenever you feel them, your team gains 25% critical strike chance. And we have Jinx passive. Woohoo! As her carry. Get excited. And when she scores a takedown, she gains 100% attack speed and movement speed for 5 seconds. That's going to be really, really good. And her support is everyone goes boom. Whenever you feel there, your team gains 10% attack speed and tripled after the first enemy dies each combat. Very cool. Malphite's carry is rock solid. Gains ability power equal to 50% of his armor, and his ability's armor duration is increased for 4 seconds. Increased by 4 seconds. And then his support is Guardian Spirit. Whenever you feel them, your team restores 50% of their missing health. Excuse me. On cast. Annie's carry is a Reflector Shield. When Annie gains when her ability shield is active, enemies that attack her take 150 magic damage every 0.5 seconds, which is going to be pretty good. She'll be shielded and then does her blast cone. It's going to be pretty ridiculous. And her support is Burning Spirit. Whenever you feel her, your team gains 20 ability power, tripled when they are below 50% health. Yasuo's Siphoning Winds carry is he gains 40% Omnivamp, which I think, in hindsight, will be pretty good. And his support will be Spirit of the Exile. Whenever you feel them, allies who start combat with no adjacent allies gain 25% attack speed. Cool. Wow. Zoe's carry is Double Bubble. Her ability launches a second bubble at a different target, dealing 100% damage. That's gonna be nuts. That's gonna be really good. And her support is Sleep Time. Combat starts, she puts to sleep the 3 lowest health enemies, stunning them for 4 seconds. So 4 seconds? Goodness, man. These guys are gonna be so good. Next we have LeBlanc. It carries Aim Assist. She's hacking because she's a hacker. For every 2 shots was fired by her ability, she fires an additional sigil at the lowest health enemy. And her support is Mirror Image. At the combat start, the strongest LeBlanc creates a clone of herself. An itemless clone. Oh, of her nearest ally. Okay, interesting. It's gonna be interesting to. Not sure if you'd want that with the Hecarim, who like. Yeah, it could be good. I don't know. Next we have Sona Power Grid. She gains 20 ability power, and her ability fires 1 additional beam. Whoa, that sounds so good. God, this set's gonna be crazy, dude. This set's gonna be nuts. And her support is Undercurrent. Combat start, your strongest Sona grants her 2 nearest allies 50 mana. Next we have Kaisa. Why are these reversed? Her support is... She grants 100% of her ability's attack speed bonus to her nearest ally. Her carry is Multi-Shot. Every 2 attacks, she fires a bonus attack at a nearby enemy. What the heck, dude? Oh my goodness. Next we have Neela. Her carry is Gifted. She gains 50 ability power, and the combat start, your strongest Neela grants her nearest allies a temporary copy of one of her normal items. I think it's not going to be the gadgeteer item or whatever. I'm not sure if orange items are coming back, but it seems like it's normal items. Her support is Jubilant Veil. Combat start. She and her 2 nearest allies gain immunity to crowd control for 20 seconds. What the heck, dude? You get a free 3 QSS. Wow. Next we have Alistar's Flex is Smash. He restores 5 mana per second, and his ability hits all enemies within 1 hex. We saw this showcased in the in the preview. And his carry is he gains more health, and his ability deals bonus damage equal to 12% of his maximum health. It's gonna be crazy. Next we got Riven and her carry, which is Reverberation. She gains 40 ability power, and her ability is additionally cast on her lowest health ally. Her support is Triumphant Return. She grants herself and adjacent allies a shield for 10 seconds equal to 35% of their maximum health. Next, we got Jax's Relentless Assault. Every third attack, he gains 20% attack speed. For the rest of combat, it can stack. Wow. So not more damage, not just more damage, but also more attack speed. That's crazy, dude. Jax's support is Evasion. When you refill them, your team gains 100% dodge chance for 2.5 seconds the first time they fall below 50% health. Wow, dude. That's crazy. It's not just him, but your team. That's gonna be crazy. Next is Senna's carry Absolution. She gains 30% attack speed and an additional 10% every 5 seconds. Okay. And her flex is Core Formation. She grants herself and adjacent allies 30% attack damage. Vayne. Her carry is Spread Shot. Her ability additionally fires at 2 other nearby enemies, dealing 50% damage. That's gonna be really good because it's true damage. And her support. When you field her, allies equipped with Edge of Night gain 40% attack speed. Interesting. Her support literally needs you to have Edge of Night. Interesting. Vel'Koz. Whoa, this is a champion I think is going to be really busted. His carry is Frostburn. His ability deals an additional 200% of his damage over the next 30 seconds. Wow. And it can stack. It's crazy. Support is Frozen Tundra. He slows the attack speed of all enemies by 30% for 6 seconds. At the start of combat, 6 seconds? Man! That sounds busted, bro. Next we have Cho'Gath, and his flex is Cosmic Barrier. When you field Cho'Gath, your team gains 50 magic resist double for Cho'Gath. So he's, with his passive, is gonna be like, just doesn't take any ability damage basically. And his carry is Energy Void. Each time his ability hits an enemy, he steals 20% of their magic resist. He steals it. Wow. Alright, next we have Rammus. His flex is Armored Dillo. When you feel him, your team gains 40 armor doubled for himself. And his carry is Spiked Shell. When struck by an attack, he deals magic damage equal to 100% of his armor. So his shell, his W. When especially struck by an auto attack, it will deal magic damage to nearby enemies. Wow. So he's just a floating bomb basically. Next we have Echo. His carry is that he gains 30% attack speed and his attacks deal 50 bonus damage, magic damage. And his support is Chrono Break. When you field him, he stuns all enemies for 3 seconds after 10 seconds of combat. Nuts. Yeah, that's really good. Oh. 3 seconds, man. I feel like there's got to be some build that people make that's just gonna be an instant, just like CC chain. I want to try to create something like that. Next we have Talia. Her carry is Stoneweaver. She gains 30 ability power, and her ability deals 40% more damage to enemies above 1800 maximum health. So free giant slayer basically. And her support is Be the Stone. She shields the 3 highest allies 50% of their maximum health. Cool. Szechuan sauce. Carry Glacial Prison. She gains 25 armor and magic resist, and her ability hits the entire board? Huh? What the? I mean, mind you that you can only have one hero augment at a time. And Sejuani's support will be Shatter. Her ability stuns for 0.5 seconds longer, and her enemies will take 20% more damage while they're stunned. We had Zed's carried Shadow Jutsu. He gains 10% attack damage, and when he kills an enemy, he gains 10% of their attack damage for the rest of Huh? Wow, that's crazy. Support is Contempt for the Weak. When you field them, your team gains 12% attack speed, and upon scoring a takedown on the target, they dash to a new one. And triple this bonus for 2.5 seconds. The fact that it like helps out him is gonna be really nuts. Man. Next we have Soraka's support, which is every 5 seconds, Soraka infuse. Every 5 seconds, Soraka grants your team 20 mana. Your entire team 20 mana? Wow. And the carry is Upgrade Berserk. After 15 seconds of combat, her ability casts are empowered. Cool. I think what's really crazy is that for some of these, especially like when you get to the higher costs, you just get the champion. Little busted. Misfortune. Bunny Mercenary. Her ability covers a wider cone and she gains 300 health shield while channeling. Wow. And then Make It Rain, her support. After 3 player combats fielded, she grants 15 gold. Cool. Samira carries Style and Flare. She gains 30% attack damage. When she scores a takedown, she restores 35% of her maximum mana. Oh lord, she's gonna keep ulting. And her support is Daredevil. For every 10 tactician missing health, she grants your team 5% attack speed. That's gonna be really good for when you're. Imagine if you have if Last Stand comes back in. That's gonna be crazy. You have Viego's carry Heartstopper. Gain a Viego, he gains 10 ability power, and his ability deals up to 50% increased damage based on the enemy's missing health. So an execute. Cool. Fun. Viego's support is Partners in Crime. When you field them, your team gains 20% Omnivamp, tripled when 2 or less allies remain. Wow. The fact that it's allies, so you could have a huge carry. It really doesn't rely on tanks. And or any other characters, and you can just basically just not die. I wonder if it's when it's tripled. Do they mean by like ×3 or literally like cube tripled? Because cube tripled would mean 20 would be doubled as 40, which means doubled again is 80% Omnivamp rather than 60% Omnivamp, because that would be also kind of crazy. We have Set's carry Punch Protocol. He gains 20 armor and magic resist, and his ability knocks back the first enemy struck, destroying them if knocked off the battlefield. Knocked off the battlefield? Does that mean they... Killed him? I don't know. The support is regenerative shields. If the shields of his team break, he recharges them at 40% change. Huh? Briefly after the shields of his team break. I don't know what that means. We have Belveth carry back for blood. She gains 20% Omnivamp tripled while under 50% health. That's gonna be really good. Her ult's really good for that. And then her support is Void Mother. Your strongest Belveth creates 2 Void spawns with 75% of the normal health in front of her. Sounds very good. We have Aurelion Soul's Carry Extinction Event. He gains a 40 ability power, and his ability meteors are larger. Wow, that sounds really good. And then his support is Velocity Impact. His ability stuns enemies hit for 2 seconds. Wow. Next we have Zac, and his carry is Supersize. He gains 1,000 bonus health and is immune to crowd control. And then his support is Elastic Slingshot. He flings his 2 nearest allies to the enemy backline, knocking the enemies up upon impact for 3 seconds. Wow. Alright, last few here. We have Aphelios, his carry. Yeah, like, look at this. Gaining Aphelios. What? Someone could just totally high roll and get like a 5 cost at like, what, 3-2? I don't know how they're gonna balance that. His attacks, because like if you think about it, so I'm pretty sure they said that everybody's gonna get a hero augment at the same time. But if you're doing like a 1 cost hero augment, like, I feel like that could not work out very well. Like on like the first round, the first augment, if it's a hero augment, you could just get an Aphelios. I don't know how they're gonna do that. I don't know. I guess the way to do it is they make the lower augments better, the lower champion augments better, and these ones are kind of just minor. Get more mana, sort of thing. But Aphelios' armor piercing rounds. His attacks reduce the target's armor by 10% for the rest of the combat, and it can stack. Wow, that's really good. And it can stack. Ooh. Support is locked and loaded. When you field them, your team gains 15% attack damage and an additional 5% every 5 seconds. Next, we have Janna. Her carry is Rapid Reporting. Her ability restores 5 mana per enemy hit. That seems pretty good. And her support is Exaggerated Reporting. The effects are increased by 100%. Next, we have Mordekaiser. His carry is Not So Heavy Metal. And his trait is that he gains 20 ability power every 5 seconds. And his support is Obliterate. Combat start, he reduces enemy armor and magic resist. Don't tell me his team enemy armor and magic resist by 20%, because that's really good. I don't know. Syndra carry, power overwhelming. Allies summoned by her ability gain 30% attacks damage and 30 ability power, armor, and magic resist. Allies summoned by her ability. Oh god, I'm confused by Syndra. So she flings people from the bench, but does that mean they're active in play? Allies summoned? No way. No way. You just have a bunch of 5 costs on your bench and you just fling them in and they're in play. Interesting. It's almost like they're bringing like duos. They oh god, I can't remember the mode. It looks like they're basically bringing that into this, where you have your other team and you put them in. Her support is Empowered Reserves. Whenever you field her, your team gains 5 ability power per unit on your bench. Leona's carry is Perfected Solar Flare. She gains 30 ability power and her maximum mana is reduced by 20. Her support is Eclipse Prime. When you feel that your team reduces all incoming damage by not just attack damage or magic damage. All damage by 30. Wow. Nunu's carries, they see me rolling. When you feel them, your team gains 20 ability power and additional 5 every 5 seconds. Support is Contagious Laughter. He gains 30 ability power and restores 10 mana per second. Fiddlesticks. When an ally dies, gain 200 bonus health for the rest of combat. I feel like this is when you want to just put him in the back. You just maybe put on Archangels and just let him stack damage and let your whole team die, and then he just activates and has a bunch of health, a bunch of damage, and just wipes everybody. We'll see. Next, we got his support, which is Absolute Corruption. Combat start, Fiddlesticks grants its nearest ally 30 ability power and allows them to share its corrupted souls. Wow, that sounds really good. Last but not least, we come to the end of the video. We got Urgot's carry Shiny. His ability has a 25% chance to additional 25% chance to trade up treasure here, which bumps it up to 50, I think. Which I don't know what that means. I mean, can you get items? Can you get gold? I don't know, units. We'll see. And his support is Rising Tide. Combat start, he grants himself and adjacent allies 25 ability power and 15% attack speed. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for all of this. I think that's pretty much it. Spell Slingers, here's a little preview of them. They're gonna fling their abilities right there. They fling a little orb at them, dealing magic damage. That's pretty interesting. Once again, we saw Hackerim flying the hackers into the back line. We got a view of the I can't remember what trait this is, but the little drones that will have a 50% chance of attacking, because this will be very popular. And yeah, for the most part, a lot of big changes. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about these hero changes, these hero augments. Let me know what comps you're excited for. Let me know what champions you're excited for. I'll be streaming this, like I said, on my Twitch. Go check it out. And we'll have some fun with it. We'll just do some goofy stuff. All right. So thank y'all so much for watching. Appreciate y'all coming out and sticking around. If you made it to the end of the video, comment something nice. Comment for the algorithm, and make sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing if you find yourself coming back to the channel. And without further ado, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.